And now we move on to the panel discussion that we have a couple of minutes left, and if there are any questions within the audience, please don't hesitate to kind of make those. We have the microphones as well for that one. Just give a signal for that if there is. Now there was a lot of discussion about the taxation that goes and level playing field that is basically missing from the digitalization point of view, both for the infrastructure and the services. Now, maybe if you, Suvi, start on that one, how do you see that one moving? What should we do? You have a great experience on the legislative side as well.
First of all, countries should do as we have done in Finland, that we don't have any extra taxes for telecommunication. But unfortunately, in many emerging countries, the telecommunication field is one of the few fields that the governments can get taxes out. But unfortunately, then, like in Bangladesh, the taxation was like 56% of the extra on the mobile phone. So they were taxing SMS, they were taxing SIM cards, they were taxing voice, they were taxing device, all these things. So you put special extra taxes. So at the end, it's impossible in the face of affordability. So even though it's hard, I know, when the government is lacking money, and quite often that's the reality, that to put in measure that, do I make investments for the country for long term, for 10, 20 years, or shall I be very short-sighted and just see that I have my budget deficit is smaller when I tax a lot? So it's a pity, because there are so many elements that, what we heard, for example, yesterday, that the growth and penetration of broadband provides GDP growth, and in some countries, I think it was Pakistan, they really lowered the taxation of the mobile phones, and it was the great growth of sales of those phones. So in a way, all the evidence is that there's a clear way how you should do it, but unfortunately, it's still very hard to put this puzzle together and make these kind of long-term good investments or decisions.
Right. Yeah. Please. Yeah. Vladimir.
Thank you. Yeah. Just to echo what Suvi just mentioned. I mean, sector-specific taxes is really a barrier and a bottleneck for the development of the mobile broadband. And also, I would like to re-insist about the spectrum and the access to the spectrum in some markets, which, once again, you can benefit to release the spectrum on the long-term basis if the appropriate approach is driven and put in place to release the spectrum, and not looking at the short-term benefit. And especially when you release some spectrum, we see some government and policymakers doing that, but looking at the long term and see what is the benefit of putting this spectrum on the market and having a better network and better mobile broadband available, and all the associated benefits, socioeconomic benefit associated to this development.
Right. Now, really kind of a boosting this one, just one more thing, just as a kind of a correlation and an example out of the mobility. We were talking about 63% are still in the 2G, 32 in 3G, and 5 only in 4G. Now, Vladimir, would there be enough spectrum? Would it be possible at all, looking future, to kind of have a flat rate in the mobile side, because as an example, in a way, from the businesses here in Finland, we have at Elisa the run rate with the 4G is 40% by now, because of the flat rate that we are running and the kind of a different scheme that we are running at. So that provides a possibility, but the spectrum is an issue.
Yeah, spectrum is, I would say, a challenge, not necessarily an issue, but a challenge for a number of aspects. And what we try to prepare next month in Geneva is the future of this growth. And having, I would say, abundance of this spectrum will help to better manage first the consumer needs, demand, and better response to the market. So we know that we are in a fast-growing movement in terms of traffic, in terms of innovations, in terms of new applications. And the objective with spectrum is to secure, I would say, affordability access to this broadband resource and make sure that we will be able today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow respond to the consumer's demand.
Now we were talking about as well about the IoT and 5G. I hope that you kind of noted good points that were made there. Due to the lack of time, we move a little bit to the mobile as a service side. That was surely an interesting kind of example, Mika, that you showed. So what are the experiences this far? How to get that one moving now?
Well, we are now in the process of having the first piloting operators running in Finland. And obviously we wish to see that there could be scalable on a global market later on. But what we need is experiences of how it would work within different environments, both in kind of denser city areas, as well as what's important in Finland is also areas where we have lower population density, and what kind of services could be available in that kind of areas.
Thank you. So as the clock kind of turns to 10 and the next sessions will start, we definitely had an interesting session as a keynote starter for today from the many perspectives, and I thank you very much my colleagues here, Vladimir Poquet, Suvi Lindén and Mika Lautanala. It was a pleasure having the session with you. I hope that you will have a fruitful day in front of you still, and you experienced a lot already yesterday, I'm sure of that, heard a lot of good stuff out of this one. So keep in mind just that it needs to be a kind of a investment and a level playing field. We need to kind of believe into the digitalization, that it brings a better sustained world to every one of us. So let's all kind of do what we can in our authorities to kind of follow this one. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for this.